Good evening, Eternal Kernels, wherever you may be across the Commonwealth, across the country, or even across the world, as we come to you tonight on Facebook Live, YouTube, LinkedIn Live, wherever you may be watching. My name is Dan McBride, Associate Vice President for Development and Alumni Engagement at EKU, and I want to officially welcome you to Homecoming 2023. A lot of exciting events are planned for the entire week. The students are busy tonight working at the warehouse, building their floats for the parade on Saturday. And for the fourth year in a row, we are kind of kicking off our homecoming tonight with a very special chat with the EKU president. But before we get to that, I do want to let you know a lot of things going on this week for homecoming, a lot of activities, the annual Colonel Corn Roast, the parade will take place Friday night. We will have the block party is back again this year from 7 to 10 on Water Street in downtown Richmond. A lot of fun that was last year. Of course, Saturday morning, we'll have our annual awards brunch, the tailgating that will take place before the game. The parking lot will be full. I can assure you of that. We'll have the football game, of course, at 3 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. And we'll crown a new homecoming royalty at halftime of that ball game. And a lot of things going on. For the complete schedule of all things happening this week for homecoming, I want you to go to our website, www.homecoming.eku.edu, I believe is the correct link. Go there and you can find out all the activities and everything that's happening. There's a little look at what the page looks like, and you can go on and find out all the activities and see what looks fun to you. Again, there's a lot of signature events. There are a lot of reunions and different groups that are going to be gathering this week. And there'll be things that are going to be taking place not only all over campus, not only all over Richmond, but all over Central Kentucky. A lot of different things that will be happening in connection with our homecoming festivities. So I encourage you to check out the homecoming page at the alumni website, and it will give you all the information. And please, if you go there and you're going to attend one of the events or any of the events, even if you're just coming to the parade, please go on and register. We like to know what folks are coming, who is going to be there, and have you check in. It's simple. You'll see a spot where you can do that when you go to the website. So we're looking forward to seeing everybody this week on campus and in town. It's going to be a fun week, as homecoming always is. This is the fourth year that we have done this. It's kind of our official kickoff to homecoming week. We invite our president in, and he kind of tells us what's happening on campus and the state of the campus address. And we are very pleased once again tonight to have with us Dr. David T. McFaddin, the 14th president of EKU. Dr. McFaddin, good evening and welcome.
Hey, Dan, how we doing?
Well, it's homecoming week, so you know what that means.
Lots of work. So
lots of things going on. And additionally, this year we're experiencing homecoming week on fall break. So that does present some challenges for us on campus. But I noticed today you could see the students were pouring back into campus.
Yeah, we, the timing of the homecoming game is always challenging with football schedules and trying to make those things work. But I think we're going to be great. It's been a great fall break. The weather's been good. Hopefully the weather's going to be good this weekend. But excited to have everybody back on campus. Truly a coming back home this weekend. I know there's a lot of activities scheduled for the week, including our Pioneer and awards brunch. We've got several folks to recognize this upcoming weekend, including our very own vice chair of the board, Alan Long, who's going to be recognized and go into the Hall of Distinguished Alumni.
Yeah, that'll be a fun event. We've got 4 members going into the Hall of Distinguished Alumni, some young alumni, some professional achievement recognition, and also some community service recognition. So that's always a fun event because it gives us an opportunity to kind of highlight the best of Eastern. And it's amazing what some of these alums are out there doing in the world.
Absolutely. I think that the reach is so far and wide. And the beautiful thing for our students who graduate today, no matter where they're going in the world, what they want to do, we've likely got a colonel who's out there willing to help them get started to be successful in what they want to do.
Yeah, and homecoming, obviously, it's always a big deal for me. I love homecoming. But the opportunity to get to see so many faces that we only get to see maybe once a year or once every few years. And I know at some campuses, homecoming's not a big deal, but here at EKU, I really feel like homecoming is a big deal.
Yeah, I really do. And I think that there's just such a strong tie to the place, to the people, people like you, Dan, who, Mr. EKU. I mean, when you spend as much time here in this community, grew up here, worked here, I think it connects things back together. It gets so tickled when Dave Butchek talks about you helping him wash his car back in the 70s. He's like, who's this kid from across the street? But he does a heck of a job, wash and shine. So
yeah, well, Dave always did the top of the car because I couldn't reach it, but he could. But
at 6'8", that was probably pretty easy for him. So
yeah. Well, one of the reasons we always love to have you on, a lot of alumni across the country. I know you've spoken to the chamber recently and done kind of a state of the campus address, and a lot of people here locally get to hear how things are going at EKU, but many of our alums across the country, they don't have that opportunity. And this kind of gives us a chance to talk about the great things that are happening right now.
Yeah, I think that, from an institutional kind of the trajectory of the university, we're really on an upswing. Enrollment is up. We're seeing a retention at all-time highs. Student engagement, that's really exciting. As you said, the students pouring back in. We've had a great semester of student engagement, student activities. It's really just been a great year this year, and we've been building to this. I think that the fall of 2020 was so strange and so disruptive. But this year, we welcomed the second largest freshman class in university history. We exceeded our highest retention rate ever at 80% retention. And then, of course, we're moving forward. And you can see what's up on the screen there. Next year, we're targeting what will be the largest freshman class in university history at 3,100 freshmen. And so, we'll be able to make those things work as we move forward. But as we look at things, all in all, we're really excited about where we're at.
You mentioned the largest freshman class. Let's talk a little bit about this class, because I know EKU has always been a school where we have a lot of first generation students, but in particular, this class is really incredible with the number of first generation students.
Yeah, we'd really been trending institutionally between 36% of the student body were first in their family to go to college, still, making us the school of opportunity for so many students. I'm a first generation student. That Eastern was how, I really made it to this seat where I sit today. So I owe everything to Eastern. But I was really shocked to look at this freshman class where 50% of this freshman class were the first in their family to go to college. And I think that kind of caught me by surprise as we think about, doing this work for nearly 150 years now as an institution. Would not have expected that number maybe to grow so quickly. But I think what it means is that we are pushing the Eastern Kentucky University message further and deeper than we ever have before. And students who maybe did not think college was possible know that they can do it with EKU. And I think some of the things that we've done and what we've done with our scholarship program, what we've done with our Book Smart program, free books at EKU, I think that's really opened a lot of doors. So access and affordability are top of mind here at EKU. And I think that's really spoken to a lot of students, and that's reflective of this freshman class.
Yeah, one of the things I think a lot of people don't realize is in many ways we truly are Kentucky's university, because so many of our students come from the Commonwealth, but they also stay in the Commonwealth and work.
Yeah, I get that's one of the things I take the most pride in. Per capita, we educate more Kentuckians than any other school in the state. We have a higher percentage of our students. We're number one for putting those students back to work in our Kentucky communities. And the thing that really strikes me is that well over 90% of our students say that both they're prepared for their career and they're very happy and fulfilled in their career. And I think that is a testament to what our faculty do, what our staff do to support those students, but also what we do to make sure the students are really ready to go out there and make that difference when they walk across that stage with that diploma.
You talk too about it being a total experience when they come, and obviously the education is the important thing, but with the entertainment options that students have now. I mean, we had Little John on campus. They have concerts. They have all these different events to really make it a full campus experience.
Yeah, we really this was something that was born out of COVID. We went through the fall of 2020. We launched the Book Smart program. After Book Smart, we said, what's the next big bold thing? We said, gosh, think about how many students missed out on their senior prom, on their high school graduation. That there was a whole really group of students who missed out on those unique experiences and those memories that that they were just never going to have. And I think the one thing that I know about homecoming, and I've now going into my 27th year of homecomings, the stories, the memories, I saw so and so in the ravine, or I saw this act in Alumni Coliseum, or I remember when we did this or when we did that. Yes, there's exceptional education going on in the classroom, but there's a lot of relationship building, a lot of memory building, a lot of life skills that are going on outside of the classroom. And so we were very intentional about launching the Exceptional Eastern Experience, we call it E3, back in 2021. And it was geared toward making sure that if you come to EKU, you get a great education, it's affordable, but you're going to have a great time and have some unique experiences along the way.
Yeah, and that is part of what college is all about. Obviously, as you mentioned, the education is an important piece, and there's a lot to be proud of right now in some of our programs on campus. And I know the one that always pops in my mind first is risk management. What a fantastic job they've been doing, and ranked #1 in the country.
Yeah, AM Best still ranking our risk management insurance program #1 in the nation. We just had our RMI golf scramble a couple of weeks ago. Great turnout for that event. Always they come to play golf and connect, but a lot of the people who are there are not graduates of our program, are not EKU alums. They are people who are working in that space, in the insurance space and the risk management space, who are coming to recruit the very best and brightest anywhere in the world to come and be a part of their organizations. It struck me, I guess at some point, 5 or 6 or 7 years ago, I realized that no matter what major city that I went into, inevitably the tallest building in that city has an insurance company's name on the top of it. So a great place to work, great to have that program. And obviously everyone over there is doing a great job. And I'm so glad they've been recognized. We've got some other great programs there. We continue to be ranked top in our region for Best for Vets. We're #3 in the nation in that space. Our nursing program, our bachelor's degree in pre-law, just a lot of things going on academically that we're really proud of, and some new things that are going on too.
We talked a little bit about scholarships in the Book Smart program, and I think those are two things that have really had a positive impact on helping us recruit and retain students.
Yeah, I think we haven't really correlated it exactly, but the testimonial from students, from parents, one of my neighbor now, there's so many favorite days of the year, right? There's homecoming, there's graduation, there's the first day of class, but when we start having freshmen move in, and I get a chance to go over there for the Big E welcome, and I'm giving out those free books, there's always this look on their face that's like, so what's the catch? Like, you're giving me these books. So am I going to get a bill when I get back to my room? Like, what's the thing? And so you explain to them, no, that the books are free. My greatest fear is that after we do this for a while, students at EKU forget that the cost of textbooks are really a big cost saving. So I always make sure that they say, hey, call your friends who are at other institutions, ask them how much they spend on their books. So.
Yeah, one of the things too about this freshman class, and I kind of skipped over this, but I don't mean to. Enrollment was up overall, but there were a lot of key areas that I think enrollment was up too, and that's important.
Yeah, as we look at first gen, low income, underrepresented student populations, we're up double-digit percentages in all of those student populations. We're up over the last 3 years. The freshman class has grown right at 30% total. And then the overall enrollment, unfortunately, from 2016 to 2020, we've seen a decline of almost 3,000 students. We have clawed back about a little over 2,000 of those students in the last couple of years. So we've really started to move ourselves in that direction. A couple more years of this work, and we hope to perhaps best the all-time enrollment at EKU as well. And so we got to continue to do that work. We've got to continue to be Kentucky's university, but we've also got to start to look outside of Kentucky. We've got a deep history of bringing students to Eastern Kentucky University from north, from south. And I think we've got to reconnect in those spaces in a very intentional way. Our admissions team is working on a comprehensive enrollment, out-of-state enrollment strategy that we're hoping to get off the ground in the spring. And then, of course, starting to look really about international education and how we find those international partners in a very focused way so that we can continue to serve not only here at home, not only in our surrounding states, but really globally.
Yeah, I know when we had the Cincinnati football game and we did the alumni tailgate up there, it was amazing the number of students from that Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky area, Dayton, even some of those folks that came down for the tailgate. We have a lot of alumni in that area.
Yeah, when I was here in the early '90s, when you look through the parking lots at at Sullivan, at Burnham, at Martin, at Keene, half of the license plates were from Hamilton County, Ohio. So I've got a lot of great friends from that Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky region.
Yeah. Let's talk about some of the new things that are happening on campus. And I know one of the big things that we've talked about is the manufacturing engineering program, which is our first, and that's a big deal.
Yeah, I think that, as came into, it's hard to believe I'm going into year 4, in the presidency, but there were some things that we really wanted to do to try to reposition EKU. And being a school with an engineering program is a big differentiator as an institution. It really changes your peer set, who you're compared to. And we thought long and hard about, so how do we step into this space? How do we do this in a really thoughtful and intentional way that is not only going to put EKU in that kind of cohort of schools who have engineering, but do engineering in a way that's going to make an impactful difference that's not already being done here in Kentucky. And so we leaned into manufacturing, obviously the largest sector of the economy for Kentucky, the fastest growing sector of the economy for Kentucky. And we said there's only 24 manufacturing engineering programs in the nation. Let's add EKU to that mix. And so we were excited. We did all of the work leading up to that. We welcomed the first cohort this fall, 24 students in that cohort. Outstanding students. There's an amazing young woman who chose EKU. She spoke at the foundation board about a week ago, but her testimony was this. She said, my choice was down to 2 schools, this school in Ann Arbor, Michigan, called the University of Michigan, and Eastern Kentucky University, and she chose us. And so there was a multitude of reasons she did that, but she seems very happy, very well pleased, and really excited to be a part of that first year cohort.
Another big program, and as part of a partnership, but instituting the cybercrime certificate was a big deal too.
Yeah, we worked with Congressman Barr. We worked with some federal financial institutions, some local financial institutions, and really trying to be responsive to what the industry sector needs. And what they were telling us is that we do not have the professionals that we need in the cybersecurity space. For financial institutions, and that is not only at the highest level, looking at PNC Bank, looking at U.S. Bank, those large institutions, but also our local banks like Central Bank or Community Trust Bank. All of those partners were there. And I've got to give a big shout out to Karen Harbin, our partners at Commonwealth Credit Union. They stepped up in such a major way to invest in this program, to invest in Eastern Kentucky University, and they have been such a great partner. And so Commonwealth Credit Union has really been the backbone to help us get us this off the ground and support this program, which is really going to help the entire financial sector by producing graduates who are able to work in that cybersecurity space.
And one of the things we've talked about, the key role faculty play in this, and I know it's been a mission of yours to make EKU an employer of choice, not only for our faculty, but for our staff. That's been something that you have wanted to put at the top of the list of things to do.
Yeah, we have really been strategic in trying to build a sustainable pathway forward for that. And, there's things you have to there's things that you have to invest in. And that is regular compensation, benefit programs. We've got to do those things and not just do them every 3 years or 4 years or 5 years. We've got to do those things every year. We've also got to be committed to saying that we want to be able to be an employer who's flexible, meets the employee where they're at, and that's involves telework. That involves trying to make sure that we have things like our summer advantage plan and our winter advantage plan. But looking at that, I feel like we've really moved the needle, and I think we got recognized in a big way for the first time. Forbes ranked us a top 30 employer in Kentucky. We were the highest rated 4-year regional institution in the state, and so it was good for us to be recognized in that way. Hoping to continue to do that work as we move forward.
The 5 years before you became president, maybe even more than that, there was a massive amount of construction going on campus. And I think everybody kind of felt like when we came to the end of that phase that there would not be any construction for a while. But it's really kind of amazing how many construction projects and how many things continue to happen on this campus. I mean, every day there's something new happening.
Yeah, I've got to give our facilities team, really that entire team, a lot of credit. They have been working incredibly hard. But I've also got to say a big thanks to our legislature for the first time since 2006. We convinced them to make some strategic investment in asset preservation, which allowed us to put some real significant funds into our legacy buildings here on campus. And so we are doing about $55 million of improvements across campus. That's steam lines, that's electrical, that's elevators, that's roofs, that's windows, things that really are going to make it a lot better when it's really hot or really cold. And, in Kentucky, just hang around. The weather will change really quickly. But excited to do that. Just finished up the Pedway project across the Eastern Bypass. We will be starting construction, full construction. We've already done all the abatement in Alumni Coliseum, but construction will begin there as soon as the basketball season ends in March. We will be wrapping that up, and so we'll be closed from likely mid-March of 2024 with a reopen date hopefully of January 1 of 2025, which means we will only miss the non-conference section of competition at Alumni Coliseum for next year's competition season. Really excited to get that going. And then Model Lab School, that project set to hopefully finalize drawings, get that project up and going, and be able to get things going first of the year on that project. So still a lot of things going on. We are going into a budget year, and we will continue to advocate for more asset preservation, and we'll be looking to advocate for additional support for the university moving forward.
I know a part of that has been some of the residence halls have been renovated and been worked on. And as a matter of fact, it became an important factor this year because we were full in our residence halls and even had to reopen Maddox Hall for students because we had so many in the freshman class.
Yeah, so I will say this. We started day one with 4,660 beds, and we started it with 4,660 heads in those beds. So that was just in time, inventory on that front. So everyone who wanted a room on campus got it. That's kind of, we've worked through that over the first few weeks. There's always some movement there. So we're in a really good place right now. Occupancy is very high. But we're looking forward to Keene Hall, a brand new renovated Keene Hall being online next fall. That'll bring about 600 more beds online. And then we'll be looking to do some renovations to some additional legacy stock on campus, including taking a look at Burnham, Sullivan, Palmer. We'll be working into a lot of those spaces. I do think that we're really monitoring this residential demand. We've seen a real uptick in demand since kind of post COVID, and so we're hopeful that's going to continue. And if it does, we'll be looking to either perhaps repurpose some spaces on campus, or perhaps do some new construction. But time will tell on that one. But we should be in really good shape next fall as Keene Hall comes back online, and that hall is near and dear to me. Keene 904. That's that was where I spent my formative years. So.
We have some questions I want to get to in a minute, but there are a few more things I want to touch. I know one of the things, too, that you really wanted to do as a university is kind of elevate the university brand. And I know athletics, and in particular, since we've got a football game coming up, that's a big part of elevating that brand.
Yeah, the move to the ASUN to get into those major markets, to be able to travel to those markets, to really look to think about how do we get back to our winning ways, and that's not in just one program. That's across all 18 of our programs. We've got amazing coaching staff in that space, and athletics is the front porch to the institution, and so it's the place that 80% of all media mentions for Eastern Kentucky University are affiliated with our athletics program. So you want those things to be good. You want them to be positive. You want them to be about winning. Student engagement in our athletic events have been on a huge growth trajectory. Really excited to see this weekend, see students on the Hill, hopefully see those flags being flown. And so that's really exciting. But I do think that in combination with things like our our manufacturing engineering program, that in combination with Booksmart, that in combination with our nursing programs being ranked top 20, our risk management program being ranked number one, being best in our region for veterans. I think those things all start to come together to really talk about excellence, and that everything we choose to do, we want to be the best in. And so if we're going to compete, we want to win. If we're going to, and that's on the field, on the court, in the classroom, in life, that is our expectation.
I know another priority of yours has been for us to really not forget about our service region and recommit ourselves to the EKU service region.
Yeah, that's been a big part of the strategic plan for me, is trying to figure out how Eastern Kentucky University is making a difference in Eastern Kentucky, more than just educating students from Eastern Kentucky. We've done that for a long, and we'll continue to do that and do it really well. But getting really sticky and getting very involved in that work is important. We just did an event with Senator Robert Stivers, President Aaron Thompson, EKU alum, down in Manchester a couple of weeks ago, looking to bring some really significant programming to the Manchester campus, to that region. We're going through Senate Joint Resolution 98 is really taking a look at higher ed reform, and what is how does post-secondary education play a role in southeastern Kentucky going forward. And so we want to be at the front of that. Our namesake is tied to the region that is Eastern Kentucky. And so we've got to take pride in that. We've got to take ownership in that. And we've got to be a part of really whatever the solutions are for what's next. And I'm excited to do that as a native Eastern Kentuckian. I want to be a part of that work every day.
Another thing that you guys have really, and I say you guys, the administration has really been working hard on, is increasing our strategic partnerships. And there have been a couple of very visible ones, but there's been a lot of them that haven't been as visible too.
Yeah, I think academically, we have got about 400 corporate partnership students. Those are net new students, everything from school districts to Heister Yale, to Commonwealth Credit Union, to our central bank, just so many of our the Chamber of Commerce. That's been a great partnership for us. Kentucky League of Cities, Kentucky Association of Counties. We've really reached out intentionally across the state to really be that employer of choice, or the educator of choice for the adult learner, those individuals who are working adults who maybe have some college, no degree, want an advanced degree, are really looking to position themselves for economic mobility. And then we work with that corporate partner to do a discounted rate, a really boutique advising experience, and an accelerated timeline to complete. We're also working on some really creative options like Option 9, for elementary education, where we're trying to work with the school districts to help get those para educators that they've got in the classroom from para educator to teacher in the classroom. And so that's been met with a lot of great work. Dr. Kevin Hub has been leading that work. Super excited about Dean Elizabeth Smith, who's taken over the College of Education and Applied Human Sciences. She is really pushing hard in that space to make sure that EKU is leading from the front in education from a post-secondary standpoint, how we can support our school districts in the best ways we can every day.
Okay, we've talked a lot about where we've been and where we are, but let's talk a little bit about where we're going. And as you look 5 years down the road or to the future, what are some of your goals and some things that you want to see us do in the coming years?
Well, I think that as we kind of look, ahead, to me, I think there's some key areas that we've got to continue to work at. I think enrollment, overall enrollment institutionally, it does not matter what type of institution you are, private or public, whether you are 3,000 students or 30,000 students. I think that the first litmus test for every institution is, are you growing? Because you do not want to be an institution in decline unless your strategy is to get smaller. And I do not think at Eastern Kentucky University, as I talk to our alumni, as I talk to our faculty, our staff, no one wants to strategically get smaller here. So we must grow. And so to do that, we've got to make sure we've got the right mix of programs. We've got to make sure we've got the right folks out there doing the recruiting work. Once students get here, we've got to make sure that we're advising them, supporting them, making sure the wraparound services are there so that they can be successful, and really meeting them where they're at. And that's the residential population. Then we've got to look at the online learner. That is the fastest growing space for higher education. And so we are looking to target 8,000 online learners by 2028. And that is that's not born out of some necessity to hit some enrollment number. It's about us continuing to be relevant in that online learner space and making sure that we're leading in that space. We are about 4,000 online learners today, so that means we're doubling over the next 4 years. But we've got a great team in place there, and we think we can meet that. And there's a lot of energy and ambition amongst our academic programs in partnership with our online learning team to get that across the finish line.
All right. So growth is important. I know community partnerships is another thing that's important as you move toward the future as well.
Yeah, the city of Richmond, Madison County, really our whole region, but right here in this community, Town and Gown, we just had a great event downtown last week at Dillingham Park, really bringing our community together, celebrating EKU through athletics. And I got to give Coach A.W. Hamilton a lot of credit for his vision there. What an amazing evening that was in bringing our community together. Homecoming's a great time to see that. Richmond really shows out for EKU, but I think getting really intentional about that work. And that's what we do together in doing economic development recruitment, what we do in beautification of not only the campus, but of the community at large. It's about not just being good neighbors, it's about being family. And I think that everyone there, we've got a great commission. We've got great folks who are committed to doing that work together. Mayor Blythe, people always ask him, he says across the state, people ask him, are you red or blue? He said, well, I'm just maroon through and through. And so I think that's a great thing to have when you've got a graduate and someone who's taught at the university and been such a big part of what we're doing there. I think Alex is throwing some things up on the screen there. We're also getting, we're really thinking creatively about how do we bring others into that conversation. And so we will be going out and looking perhaps for an RFP to partner with a third party about the development of a hotel and convention center that would include perhaps a complete renovation of Roy Kidd Stadium. Where we are doing our master planning process this year. We should have hopefully a consultant on board by the end of this semester, and we'll be starting focus groups in the spring and throughout the summer to really get our new strategic plan in place. And then we've really got to lean into this employer of choice. And yes, sustainable, regular compensation adjustments, really creative benefit plans, trying to be flexible employer. We've got to really double down on those things to be able to recruit and retain the very best faculty and staff. And then we continue to try to partner with our local businesses to make sure we're producing graduates that can come and make a difference in their organizations every day.
I know part of the plan too, obviously, is the things you want to do are pretty big, and you're going to need everybody to get on board and kind of join in. We need to engage as many people as we can.
Yeah, we've got it's going to take a village, Dan, and there's none of these things that I can do alone. I've got an amazing team. Our president's cabinet, very dedicated people who love this place and love the work. We've got an amazing group of new deans who are leading across the college. Every one of the colleges seeing enrollment growth. Really, they're being innovative about their programs and the things they're doing to support students. But we've got to have our alums reaching in. We've got to have those people supporting us. And as we think about giving back, I continue to look at Giving Day, and I mean I'm not going to ask today, but every day is a great day to support EKU. And so if there's something you're passionate about, there's a good chance that we're already doing it, and you can support it. And if we're not doing it yet, we would most assuredly be ready to stand to partner with those individuals to make those things happen.
Absolutely. All right. Let's see what the people want to know. We have some questions, I think, that have been rolling in. So if we can pop some of those up on the screen here, we'll just take them as they roll in. So what's up first? Caitlin Kelly. Would love to hear more of what's happening in the Department of Teacher Preparation / Education.
We saw a huge growth in elementary ed as we moved to the online platform for elementary ed this year. I think about 147 brand new students in the pipeline. That's the biggest growth we've seen probably in the last 2 decades in an education program. We continue to see the need for fixing this teacher shortage, and to do that, it'd be great to say we got 6 years to solve this problem. We got a today problem that needs a today solution. What we're doing with the Option 9 pathway, working with paraeducators, what we're doing to work with our different partners. We're looking at competency-based education portfolio review, and we'll be rolling something out on that here very soon. But we're really trying to lead from the front, be innovative. We're not saying no to anything at this point. If a school district, if someone's got an idea, we're trying to really be that kind of partner that will meet them in the middle, be as flexible as we can be, while also holding to the highest quality standards. We want to make sure that that EKU degree continues to mean something, because I will say this, from Paducah to Pikeville, you can look across the state. We've got EKU educators all across the state, and they are the very best of the best. And so we want to make sure that we continue to do that as well.
Absolutely. Okay, next question is from Billy Karen. What is the status for EKU to move to FBS?
Yeah, we're. I don't know that I have a status update in that space. We'd have to probably look to the NCAA and the Strategic Visioning Committee and all the things that are going on in that space. We want to continue to be prepared for any opportunity that presents itself for us as an institution. And that means that we have got to make sure that we're supporting our institution as a whole first. We've got to make sure that we're supporting our athletics department and making sure that our coaching staffs have the things that they need. Our administration there has what they need. We need to win in that space. And if an opportunity like that presents itself, I think we will give that a very hard look when it does. But in the meantime, be the very best you can be where you're at. And so I think that's where we're at today. And so my hope is we go out and get a big win against Tarleton State, the Texans this weekend. Hopefully finish the season strong, bring home another championship like we did last year for football, and then really ease into the winter spring sports. But I will tell you, our cross country team ranked, I think, number 15 in the nation as of the last rankings I saw. Coach Urban continuing to build on that dynasty and the work that they're doing. Our volleyball team, I think, had a 23 or 17 match winning streak?
It tied the school record. I think it was 13 straight.
Oh, I thought it was 17 straight. I'm sorry. I was just, listen, Coach Bazzani's going to love that, it's 23. So it's, the president said it must be true. But yeah, we did tie that streak. Of course, we're right back on a new streak, starting that again. So excited for that team. It's an exciting, if you've not been to see our volleyball team, that it is an exciting, it's an exciting time. They are outstanding and doing great work there. And then soccer continues to really move forward and be competitive in that space. So we're really excited. But right now, no update in that front on FBS, but our hope is an FCS championship's what's in our sights. So.
All right, next up, Jeff Whitson wants to know where he can get one of those hats like you have on.
It's what I like to call the Walt Vault. And so you gotta have an in with one Walt Wells probably to get one of these. So yeah, that's one from the Walt Vault, I like to say. So
there are some of those out there. I think some of the online stores that our new partner BSN had up for a while had some of them on there. So Jeff, maybe we'll get with you and I'll give you a link where you can find one of those. Next question up from Nathan Justice, EKU School of Communication at Eastern Kentucky University. What is President McFaddin doing to retain the best faculty and staff? And you've touched on this a little bit, but maybe talk a little bit more about faculty and staff retention.
Yeah, I think we've had 3 consecutive years of across-the-board pay increases. We've done right at $10.8 million in pay raises over the last 3 years. I do not think we had 3 consecutive years since perhaps the turn of the century. So I think that's a first effort. This year, our benefits plan, we're expanding coverages, lowering co-pays, lowering premiums, all while expanding services across really all those areas. And so I think that's a big investment as well. We continue to invest in what is the most flexible and broadest tuition reimbursement program for our employees here at EKU. So we're trying to make all those investments in the right places. The other thing we're wanting to do is really be invested in what it is that you want. And so we just adopted a brand new performance management program. My hope is that, our supervisors are having conversations with their employees about what it is they want to do, what they want to achieve and how they want to get there. And so from the top down, we want to make sure we're supporting, making sure that if your desire is to be here, to grow with us, we want to grow with you. And so that's our commitment.
All right, next up, Allison Allgaier. Nursing staffing in Kentucky has been part of the gubernatorial election discussion. What role has EKU had in supporting efforts to improve staffing?
I guess I don't know if that question is about staffing for us or staffing for the hospitals, but we both are a challenge. There's no doubt the pandemic took a major toll on the healthcare profession, and we should all take a moment to recognize those healthcare heroes because they're still out there fighting that fight and doing that work. And I would say with an institution that had a 100% pass rate last year, with our most recent group on the boards for our nursing boards, we take that very seriously. I know I had a meeting with Dr. Brooke Bentley, chair of the School of Nursing, just this week, talking about her vision and her commitment. Dean Check, Daniel Check, the new dean of the College of Health Sciences. There's a lot of commitment here for us to continue to lead in this space, but we've got to reintroduce a whole population of students to nursing and let them know that perhaps what has happened over the last 3 or 4 or 5 years for those who have worked in the healthcare sector, hopefully will not be what we face for the next 10 or 15 years, that there can be more balance and there can be that work environment is not going to be quite as strenuous or strained as it has been during the pandemic. But we continue to grow in this space. We've got significant growth in our ASN program. Our BSN program is bouncing back. The graduate program's a little soft right now, and I think that that's not just an EKU thing. That's really kind of a national thing.
It's amazing how many alums we have that work in the nursing field and in the teaching field. In both of those fields, the pandemic really took a toll on both of them. I mean, we had a lot of alums that went through a lot during the pandemic.
Yeah, we did. And, when we think about I think about our institution in the programmatically nursing, education, paramedicine, fire, police. I mean, social work. I go through the list and I'm like, these are the folks that are on the front lines of every community. They are the foundation of every community. And I don't think we always perhaps recognize what a blessing it is for them to be a part of our EKU community. And we don't take a chance to say thank you probably as much as we need to.
All right. We have one last question here. Liz Snyder Ross, has there been any discussion on how to help with the teaching shortage? new programs, incentives, recruitment. And you touched on this a little bit earlier.
Yeah, we did. The option 9, we're working it, moving into competency-based education. We're working with the districts and the co-ops to try to accelerate timelines using the Center for Educator Excellence Model Lab School. We're testing some things there, doing some partnerships in that space. We're trying to be a part of kind of fixing the crisis that is upon us. The problem is it's hard to produce a bachelor's degree in teaching in 1 year or 2 years. We are looking at a 3-year option. We're looking at how to do it while you're working. We've got some student teachers who are working full time in schools, which historically has not been the case, and so we're working through a lot of those things. So we're trying to be on the front lines of that, but very committed to our folks there.
Okay. Well, Dr. McFaddin, we are running out of time, but again, I want to thank you for taking the time. I know our alums all across the country who don't get a chance to hear you speak as often as they maybe want to, they appreciate you taking the time. Every year at homecoming, you always kick off the week with us and get on here and answer whatever questions come in and talk a little bit about what's going on at EKU. So thank you so much for taking some time out of your Tuesday night to join us and talk to the alumni base.
You're bad. Thanks, Dan. If you're coming to homecoming, come see me. I'm here all week. But otherwise, drop me an email. Give us a call if you're in town. Stop by the office. We're always glad to see you. Glad to connect with the fellow colonels.
All right, Dr. David McFaddin, thank you so much. Our guest tonight, talking about homecoming and all the other things going on the EKU campus. And we're talking specifically about homecoming because it's homecoming week, and we want you to come back and visit the Campus Beautiful this week. Again, for all of the homecoming information, visit the alumni website. There is information on all of the homecoming activities, from the Colonel Cornrows to Res Life activities, everything you want to know, the parade, the block party, which will happen again this year down on Water Street, the awards brunch, the tailgating, the many reunions that are taking place. All that information is on the homecoming website. We encourage you to go there and visit that, and then sign up and come visit us this weekend here on the Campus Beautiful. It's going to be a lot of fun. We hope everybody will come out, and we're crossing our fingers that we get some Kentucky sunshine this weekend. So that's going to wrap things up for us tonight. Again, thanks to Alex Hanovan and Steve Greenwell, who are punching all the buttons behind the scenes to make us look good. Special thanks again to Dr. David McFaddin for joining us and spending some time with us tonight, getting us ready for Homecoming 2023. It is here. We hope to see you this week here on the Campus Beautiful. Go Big E.